if you want to support the show, any of the shows, either this or whichever show, I'm not on right now because it's just a blanket ad for all of them, and the website, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com. In the description for any of the episodes of Beware of Spoilers, there is the option to donate. If you don't want to donate that way, you can donate directly through the website. We do have that, mwpnews.com. And if you don't want to support that way, then going to mwpnews.com will help out because we have ads there. We don't want to keep it, where there's a lot of ads. There's a few ads. But the point is we want to make it so that way, we can sustain this for the long term. If people donate, we're never going to paywall anything, I don't think, as of right now. But you know, if people start donating, we'll start doing cooler and cooler stuff. Like donations are how we get to cover stuff like Tribeca and other, film festivals. And, we may be able to bring on more people to help out. So if you want to help out the show and you want more content from us, by all means, even just going and giving us a 5-star rating on Spotify helps out a lot. But that's it. That's the only ad we'll have on the podcast ever. But here's whatever podcast you're going to be listening to. Good evening, and welcome to the Backlog Files. I am Adam. We're here today to talk about Pokemon Channel. And we talked a little bit about how, back when we did our episode about Hey You Pikachu, that this wasn't the end of this kind of weird sub-franchise within Pokemon. This idea of we're going to just hang out with Pokemon, exist with Pokemon, and just kind of live with Pokemon. Which I think for Hey You Pikachu was interesting. We talked about it being the episode that was it's an excuse to sell peripheral. This was the thing that was here is the what was that thing called? The microphone attachment. Like what was that? Where was I going with this? The idea that we're just going to kind of play with Pokemon as animals, not fighting beasts, and that's kind of where Pokemon Channel is. The general conceit of this is Professor Oak is launching a new service with television, and he wants you to be the one to test that thing. He wants you to test out the TV with the new TV service and how that works. So each day, you would sit there and you would watch through all the shows on the channel, make a report, and move on. You can interact with Pikachu, you can go on these little side adventures out into the woods, you collect cards, there's the Pokemon Minis in the game, so you can play all those mini games. It's not a terrible all-around experience. Because I think there's enough varied gameplay in here, and I think that, the graphics hold up well enough that this is an interesting experience even this far out from release. Do I think it's worthwhile as a replay if you're someone who's already played it? Probably not, because I replayed it recently and I'm I don't know, I get what they're going for here, and I see what they're doing, which is this idea of it's like slice of life but within the Pokemon world, but there are better ways to do that. It is a little kind of, fun, and I think that the fact that you're using the pointer to direct Pikachu instead of the microphone is kind of the thing that's great, especially considering that, when you look at, what was the other one? When you do it in, the idea that, you're going to sit here and you're going to go through and just kind of explore these areas is kind of cool at times, but at least you don't have to do it by, telling Pikachu where to go with the microphone. And it's great, because the GameCube did have a microphone attachment. It plugged into your second memory card slot. Or one of your memory card slots. That was how you played some of the mini games in Mario Party 6. I think that, when we go through the pantheon of where this is, I don't think this is a great game, and I think even within the franchise, it's not a great game. There's just a few things that it does pretty well that make it kind of interesting. Um, and again, the graphics holding up as well as they do, and the game running as smoothly as well as it does. Whereas, like if this game came out kind of the exact same, I mean, it'd be content light, but if it came out this exact way with these exact graphics um on the Switch, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is not terrible looking. Um, and it has an aesthetic of like that era. I think too, it's like if you go through other things that this game does, it's like the ways you earn money can get tedious, considering how often you have to do it to try and get money. Especially considering that like the easiest way to get money is to do the quiz channel, and then to get you have to answer. Occasionally, Pikachu will turn the TV off, or hit the what's it called, or hit a button on the TV and be wrong, and you're like, fuck, now I gotta go through and watch this whole thing again to try and do it. And you can flip the channel back and forth to try and get what you want, but still, it's still a pain in the ass. Um, and then there are things like the various TVs and the decorating the room and stuff like that. Like that's really what this is about. It's like the gameplay of watching television is more of a gateway to doing other things in the game. As for how many stars this is, if you listened last week, you know we've started the new star system, where we use the number of stars to do it, where we have 5 through 1. This is a 2. I think this is a solid 2. I don't think it's a 1 because I think that I think the ones at this point is basically reserved for this game is kind of unplayable, um, in its current form, and there's another version of the game later on that does a lot of what this does better. Um, and um, on that technical level, the game doesn't fail. So it can't be a 1. Because pinball is a 1 because pinball is very hard to play going back to it. And Hey You Pikachu is borderline unplayable with its controls via what's it called? Via the microphone. I don't think it's a 3 because I don't think this is a game that's worth playing if you aren't someone who just wants to see what this was like. This isn't a game that like would be good for research purposes. So like, oh, I want to make a game that's kind of like this because I think at its core, the fact that the gameplay is watch TV, like, and how much of the story is progressed by watching TV, and how much of it is you're going to sit there and you're going to watch episodes of this anime. You're going to watch, you know, Pokemon deliver the news, but they're all talking as Pokemon, except for Meowth, who's talking English because it's Meowth. Everyone else is just it's just Pokemon talking, and it's like it's one of those things that like as you're playing, like this feels like what I assume happens as you're dying, or having a massive stroke or something. Because it's like none of this makes sense. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and hopefully this just ends quickly, so I don't have to keep dealing with it. Um, that said, there still is a few, there still are fun moments to be had. The collecting the cards is fun, you know. I don't think that this is something that we should, you know, be revisiting for any particular reason beyond just I'm looking for something to do. And this is something. The saving grace of it that doesn't put it down lower is the fact that it has its gameplay is day dependent, so it's kind of designed to be done in spurts over the course of a week or two. Where you go in, you do your task for the day, you move on, and then you go do something else. It to that end, it handles very well. I think that, and it's a good way of making it where you're not sitting there like, fuck, what do I do? To progress. It's just you go in, you do what you got to do. It runs on the GameCube calendar the next day. It just you go to the next thing, or the Wii calendar if you're playing it on a Wii. But that's just how it works. So to that end, I think that this is a 2. As for where that would rank it, there right now we only have 2 2s as it stands. We have um, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, Pokemon Puzzle League, and we have the trading card game. Um, I think this is the lowest of the two. Of the 2s. This is going to be Yeah, I think this is going to be the new number 15 at the very bottom. Where it's like, hang on, let me put it in Pokemon Channel and 2. Which, no, hang on, not number 15, number 16. Um, number 16 Pokemon Channel. And then that's also a 2. So our new rankings are as follows. Number 18, Hey You Pikachu. Number 17, Pokemon Pinball. Number 16, Pokemon Channel. Number 15, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, Pokemon Puzzle League. Number 14, the Pokemon Trading Card Game. Number 13, Pokemon Red and Blue. Number 12, Pokemon Stadium. Number 11, Pokemon Stadium 2. Number 10, Pokemon Snap. Number 9, Pokemon Yellow. Number 8, Pokemon Gold and Silver. Number 7, Pokemon Crystal. Number 6, Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire. Number 5, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Number 4, Coliseum. Number 3, XD Gale of Darkness. Number 2, Ruby and Sapphire. And number 1, Emerald. Next week, we get into one of my personal favorite spin off games. We will be getting into Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team, and Blue Rescue Team. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.